Did he ask you about the Heat being here?
Huh?
Did he ask you about the Miami Heat?
He mentioned it, but I didn't know. I felt weird. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Your memories from last year's game with Clemson, first of all.
It was a tough loss. It was one of those games we felt like we had a win and we just let it slip through our hand, and it was unacceptable. And we came in and we looked at the film from last year's game yesterday, and it kind of hurt watching the film. So, we were ready to come out here and practice and get together and execute the game plan to get going for this week.
How much does overtime come into play? You've had some overtime games with those guys. What do you do in practice to prepare for overtime situations?
You condition. You run, and you don't stop running until you're in top shape. This is one of those games that has the possibility of going those extra innings and stuff like that. So you want to make sure your body is physically and mentally prepared to go the extra level.
Brandon, how hard is this letting a guy like Kyle Parker when he has to do this or keep him from playing up?
He uphill. Kyle Parker, he's a very good quarterback. He's athletic. He can throw the ball and he can hurt you on the feet. So he's a guy you have to be disciplined. If you give him a hole, he's going to take it. If you leave a guy open, he's going to connect. You can't expect him to make a lot of mistakes, so you have to do your job to try to minimize his playmaking ability.
What's your take on their offense and what you've seen? Obviously they don't have Spiller or Ford anymore, but they still have enough to win some games. Huh?
Very, very good group. They don't have the big names in C.J. Spiller and Jacoby Ford, but the guys they have another back combination in Harper and Ellington, and they're a great group of guys mixed in with Kyle Parker and the tight end they have over there, Dwayne Allen. They're a pretty good group, and they do a lot of good mixture in the run and the pass, and they use their athletes a lot.
How different do things feel now that these are all conference games? The games you played were important for getting wins, but now, the key to getting to the BCS game is to win these games.
These are the ones that count. So it's very huge and it's very different. So we take it with a different approach. We're completely focused and we're disciplined and we're ready to get it going. And we realize that these games ultimately will affect where we end up at the end of the year.
Brandon, with playing on the road for third consecutive week, how much does playing at Ohio State and Pittsburgh help for this week? And this is obviously an environment that's everybody knows is a pretty tough place.
Playing in those type of environments first, I think there was a big preparation, especially playing at Ohio State with the huge 100,000 crowd and stuff like that. Going into Clemson, we know it's going to be crazy. Everybody we've talked to have emphasized just how crazy that stadium is going to be on Saturday. But we feel like we're prepared, and we did a lot of things during the fall camp with the crowd noise on the field and stuff like that. So communication shouldn't be an issue.
What have people told you about with Clemson in particular? What have you heard?
They said it was everybody we talked to that played here at Miami, that played Clemson at Clemson. They told us that that's going to be the craziest stadium we ever played in. Maybe not the most people, but it's definitely going to be the loudest.
And we're all interested in hearing about Sean Spence a little bit. He's had a great season so far, great comeback this year. Can you talk about him?
Sean Spence, great guy. What can you say? He put in the work during the off season. He never slacked off. He suffered an injury last year that cut his year short. He was disappointed in the season he had, but he knew he can get the job done. He's a great playmaker on his defense. He gets everybody lined up, and I love him. He makes my job that much more easier.
He does. Can you talk about that a little bit? How he makes your job easier?
When you have Sean Spence playing, he's gonna wipe out the run and the short pass game. So I really have one responsibility to take care of the deep passes and the deep routes, because he complements us so well on defense, and he flies around, he gets sideline to sideline, and he makes plays all over the field, not just in his area.
He's not a huge guy.
Mm-hmm.
They always say he's undersized. How does he get so many tackles?
That depends on what you consider undersized. He's not a huge guy, but he's fast and he's smart. He outsmarts people. You're not going to outsmart Sean Smith. You're not going to misdirection him and expect him to make a mistake. He watches a ton of film, and he comes out here and he works his craft on the field, and he makes sure everybody else is doing the same thing, actually. So when the play is going, when they're pump faking over here, Sean Spence over there, he knows where the ball's going at.
Was he basically playing on one leg after that Clemson game? Because he did sit out a couple games, then he tried to play, but he didn't seem like he was never as effective, obviously, as...
He didn't get back to 100% before he played. Actually, he got hurt in that Clemson game one of the first few snaps, and nobody never knew, because he's just the type of player, he wasn't ready to lay down and just go out on the team. He sucked it up and he tried to play a little more, and obviously it just got worse and worse, and he ultimately had to come out the game. But that was one of those, this is his game. He talked about that. This was the game that he wanted to come out and show everybody that he's back and he's a playmaker, because this is the game he suffered in last year. he was put in an unfortunate situation and gave up a deep pass and for a touchdown. But he feels like this Saturday is the game he can come out and have a big week and show everybody that Sean Spence is still here.
Brandon, fans don't get to really know him. What's he like off the field? What's something interesting about him? People might be surprised.
He's just all around. He's a fun person to be around. He's a good friend. He's a good son. He's a good boyfriend. He's just all around a good person. He's so energetic and he's so full of energy. You know, he's just a guy you're always gonna have fun around. He loves to joke. He loves to mess with people. He's a prankster. That's all he do. He joke all day, play around, have fun, and he's just one of those guys that everybody naturally gravitates to.
What funny story you got on him, or some? What funny story do you have on him?
I can sit here and I can give you plenty all day. He's just a guy. He's just gonna. It's hard for me to explain because it won't seem right not coming from him. But he's a person. If you see him, he'll light up a room once he come in. He's gonna crack a joke. He's gonna say something to get everybody going and laugh.
Hey, do you keep up ever with the other DBs on the other teams? I'm wondering about DeAndre McDaniel. He played a key part in last year's game. He's a corner.
I don't really keep up with him, but he's a guy you have no choice but to follow him. He's a great safety. He's a ball player.
Safety, right?
Yeah, he does a great job of getting off the hash and making plays deep downfield, and you know we commend him on that. We watch him on tape. He's very talented, and he gets to the football.
You guys have had 2 primetime games and a 3:30 game. Is there a different feel with a noon start? You got to get up, have breakfast, and be ready to start hitting somebody.
Obviously, everything's going to be pushed up. We're going to be early, but you know, better for us. The quicker it starts, the quicker we can get in and get a win.
And does that help with the crowd, Brandon? I mean, they're not going to have all day to get lifted up.
I'm not sure. I hope so. I hope that works in our favor, but it's an early game. Hopefully some of them oversleep and they miss the game and stuff like that. So, you know, we'll just go out there and be prepared for anything. We'll practice and we'll prepare ourselves as if it's going to be loud and if it's going to be crazy.
You talk about Ryan Hill. I mean, he's a guy who was obviously did a great job last week. Had you noticed in practice just that he was ready for that kind of a role?
Yeah, Ryan was a guy we always had a lot of confidence in, and obviously this week was just the week he got his opportunity. And we all know in the secondary, when you get your opportunity back there, you know, we have to step up and make plays. And he did a great job for us last week, and so has Brandon McGee has been doing a good job, and Demarcus Van Dyke had a great play. I think the secondary in general, they've really come around this year. You know, we're really starting to complement each other real well, and we keep it going for the rest of the year and keep getting those turnovers, we'll be fine.
What music is your dad listening to right now?
I'm not sure.
Take a guess.
That's a good question. If I had to guess, I would say it'll be R. Kelly or Teddy Pendergrass, somebody like that.
You know that Parker signed a baseball contract.
He did, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
actually,
the Rockies.
Clemson is probably the team that I know the most guys on, because when I was coming out of high school, we played in the Under Armour All-American game, and they had about 12 guys from that game signed to Clemson. So I'm good friends. I know Kyle Parker, Jamie Harper, Andre Ellington, Dwayne Allen, the tight end, Quan Bowers, Xavier Brewer, the corner. I know all those guys, and we're good friends. You know.
What's Parker like?
What's he like?
Yeah.
Parker was a fun guy coming out there. He was a guy. He was undersized coming in as a quarterback, but you know he had a major confidence in his ability, and he didn't let it stop him. He came out there every day and worked hard, and you know we respect him as a player. He's a great player, so we just have to, like I say, minimize his ability to make plays.
All right. Would it be kind of weird to have a millionaire as a teammate? What do you think that would be like?
I know. So did he actually get the money?
Yeah. He got the money.
Every meal will be on him. That's all.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank